Thank you so much for joining us today for our virtual Lunch and Learn. Today we are going to be reviewing Insurance 101. My name is Ciara Endicott, and I am the Supportive Care Services Coordinator here at Ironwood Cancer and Research. I have been with Ironwood since 2013 in various support roles here, and that has given me the opportunity to learn quite a few things that are very helpful for our patients here, and I want to share that knowledge with you guys. I'm also a cancer survivor, and I was treated here at Ironwood in 2019. So I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead and review some medical insurance information that can sometimes be very overwhelming, especially in the new year when deductibles start coming your way and out-of-pocket costs start coming your way. So some of the things we're going to review today are the different type of insurance policies that are out there, and what are the differences between them. We're also going to go over some of the terminology that can be very confusing, and sometimes it really makes it a little bit confusing as far as choosing your policy and making sure that you have the right one specifically for you. We're also going to go ahead and look at some insurance cards and identifiers. I'm not sure if you guys ever are asked what's your policy ID or your group ID. And we're going to go ahead and look at some cards so that you can see the various types of cards that are out there. We're going to learn how we can find out additional information about your specific benefits on your policy, both in Ironwood resources and outside of Ironwood. And then we're going to go ahead and review how you can find assistance with costs related to your medical care and during treatment, costs related to daily living, because it does get expensive when you're going through treatment, and there's times when you do need assistance. So to begin with, there are many different types of medical insurance policies. Our insurance verification team and our benefits coordinator team here at Ironwood is two of our very important teams here. They work in the background to verify your insurance and eligibility, make sure that everything is in place and that your referrals are in place and that your policy is going to cover whatever services that you're going to receive at Ironwood. So they do quite a good job taking care of that here for you guys. So types of medical insurance policies that you may see or that you may have yourself. Employee group health plans, they are an insurance that either you or your spouse or maybe even a parent obtains through an employer. So for example, Ironwood employees have an employee group health plan. Just another example, somebody at McDonald's or somebody at Amazon. Some of those companies that are larger, they have employee group health plans. There are individual policies, and those are policies that are purchased through a broker, more than likely, or during open enrollment of the marketplace, or just through the insurance company directly. This year we had the open enrollment through the marketplace around November and December, and you might have received or enrolled in an insurance plan during that time. We have Medicare, which you will typically sign up for when you're 64, 65. There are various different parts of Medicare. So it's a federally funded plan that you put money in from the time you're working till the time you're not. So then we have a Medicare Advantage plan. That is a combination of all the parts of Medicare into one simple plan. We have Medicaid, also known as Access here in Arizona, and that is a policy that you would qualify through income-based verification. So you would have to meet financial requirements, and it's based off of how many live in your household as well. Then we have supplement plans, and those are typically combined with Medicare only plans. So those are there to fill in the gaps for things that Medicare does not cover. Now, qualifications to have each plan. An employee group health plan, you have to be with a company that is made up of 50 plus members. So Ironwood is a big company, and that is an example of why we have an employee group. Then individual plans, you must meet the insurance company's requirements and apply during the marketplace open enrollment. And there are time periods where you can meet a special enrollment requirements. For example, it's called a life-changing event. So if you get married, if you get divorced, if a family member passes, and if you lose a job, those are just a few examples of when you can take on an individual policy. Medicare, you must be 65 or older, disabled, or you can have end-stage renal disease, and then you would qualify for that medical or Medicare plan. There are different parts of Medicare. So Part A, you automatically qualify for. Part B, you do have to pay for, and you have to be age 65 or disabled. Medicare Advantage plan is also when you're 65 or disabled, but you have to have that Part B because it's that all-in-one combo plan. So you can't have just Part A and get the full combo plan. So when you have your Part B, you're able to kind of throw it all together and just make it a lot easier for yourself. We have Medicaid plans, and as long as you meet that financial eligibility and you're in need, you're going to qualify for that. And then supplements to Medicare, those are a little more stringent as far as the qualifications. If you have Medicare and you meet the policy's medical criteria, then and the specific medical criteria for that specific insurance, then you're allowed to sign up for that policy. So just to go into each plan a little deeper, most people are going to have an employee group health plan. If you come to Ironwood and you were working or your spouse is working, your employer is going to be the one supplying you with health insurance. So you'll come and say you have Blue Cross Blue Shield through your employer, or United Healthcare. Your employer is paying half of the cost of that policy. If you're lucky, sometimes they're paying a third, or maybe they're paying all of it for you. It's very rare at this time, but if a company, the bigger they are, the more likely they are to be paying more of your insurance policy. Usually, the policy is offered to you at 30, 60, or 90 days after the start of employment. An employer may offer different types of plans in the HMO, a PPO, HSAs, HRAs, and we'll go into the difference of those a little bit a few slides later. You have the option to add family members to the policy, spouse, partners, children, obviously. And then the open enrollment is held a calendar year, so January to December, or plan year. For example, my husband's runs, I believe, June to July, and it's a Cigna plan. So it just really depends on your employer. Individual policies, they're obtained, as I mentioned, through the marketplace. There's all kinds of different levels. This is one of the things that is kind of strange that we saw come out when the marketplace came out, or Obamacare, as some people know it. There's different levels: bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Of course, platinum, you're going to pay more, and you're going to pay more for the policy each month, but you're going to have lower costs when you go to the doctor. So you may just have like a $20 copay, but every month you're paying $300 for the policy. Whereas if you pick a bronze, you may just pay $100 a month for the policy, but you're paying a large deductible before you can get your services in the office. So you just really have to go through the marketplace when there's open enrollment and kind of weigh out Am I sick very often, or do I use the doctor quite a bit through the year? Or am I a healthy person and I don't find myself really using the doctor's office or specialist very often? HMO, PPOs, all of those same options are still available to you that employee group health plans have available to you. And then options are determined by where you live. So usually it's county by county. So Maricopa, for example, or Pinal. I know that right now we have Better in Maricopa, and unless that's changed this year, but I don't believe so. And then Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona in Pinal. So those are just a few that you may be familiar with. And then payments for individual policies on the marketplace are typically paid month to month. And then if you don't make your payment, you're done. So you can also pay a year in advance, but paying month to month kind of gives the consumer, which is you as a patient, a breakup in being able to pay when these are pretty costly. And Medicare, Part A, B, C, D, what are all these parts? I get this question quite a bit. And then Part A is hospital. So whenever you're going into the hospital, Part A of Medicare this is inpatient stay, of course, is going to be paying for that part of it. There's a certain amount of days they'll pay for, and then after that time, the responsibility will be on you. But they do pay 80%, you pay 20% after that annual deductible that you pay first. There is typically a deductible each year that you have to meet, and then you can pay that 20%. Part B is physician services. So anything in the office that you know typically our physicians services are going to be under Part B. And Part C is going to be the Medicare Advantage plan. So wrapped all in one, that would be what a Part C is. And Part D is drug. So you guys may be familiar with that. And when it comes to Part D, that's prescription drug. So the premiums removed from your Social Security payments each month that you receive. So a lot of people are on a fixed income and they receive Social Security payments, and they'll just take out that they'll just take out that premium each month. So it may not be very significant, but for people who are on fixed incomes, it can be. It's a calendar year plan, meaning January to December. And it does have, like I said, a deductible. Then it's 80% paid by them, 20% paid by you, and out of pocket. Medicare Advantage, this is also known as Part C of Medicare, as we mentioned, has all of those parts together in one plan. I hear a lot of people say, I have, let's see, for example, Humana, Medicare Advantage, HMO, and Medicare. Well, once you sign up for Humana, Medicare, HMO, you no longer have Medicare, just Medicare. You have Humana, Medicare, HMO, because everything is replaced and put into one policy. So you don't have two insurances, you now have one. And then dental coverage is an option that you can add on. Typically it's like $20 a month for you to add on with that plan. And then, as I said, it replaces Medicare. Medicaid plans are offered through the state, so access. Many people may be familiar with it. Right now with the pandemic, many people have had to resort to the state insurance with the lack of income, and especially if you are going through treatment, it's very hard to pay for an insurance plan when you're going through treatment and you're not working. So this is something that you may need to rely on temporarily. That's what it's there for. To qualify, you must be under the age of 65, a state resident, and you need to meet an income eligibility. And I'll let you know what that income eligibility is, but you can, and where you can find it online. All of their plans are HMO plans, which means you are assigned or you choose a primary care physician in their network. So you can, as long as they give you a list of doctors and you choose who's on there, that's your doctor, and they are going to give you a referral for any service that you need other than a primary care visit. So say you need to see a podiatrist, first you're going to need to see your primary care doctor, get a referral that says Susie needs to see a podiatrist, and then you're able to go see that podiatrist that's in network. Also, they can write for x-rays, but first you're going to need to have a referral for that x-ray. So sometimes patients are very frustrated, especially we get those when patients who come into our office that are very frustrated because they're told, well, we need you to have a referral first. That is all dependent on your primary care physician. We are waiting on a referral that they need to write. So the best thing that you can do in that circumstance is call your primary care physician and advocate for yourself. Give them a call and let them know that Ironwood is in need of a referral and that it's something that is urgent. And that oftentimes will push it through. Our referral department is a very hardworking department as well, and they try to get things expedited for you. Plan coverage is typically 100% coverage. You're covered for everything, and if not, then you're paying $5 or $10 copays, so very minimal. There's multiple plans to choose from, just like everything else, and it's based on whatever county you're in, but you need to make sure that your doctors are in those plans. So for instance, let me give you our breast surgeon, Dr. Hernandez. You need to say you're going to see him, but you also have to see a plastic surgeon. You need to make sure Dr. Hernandez is in network, but you also need to make sure your plastic surgeon is. And then if you have to see a cardiologist, you need to make sure they are too. So it's very important for you to advocate for yourself and look into these things. Then we have plans that are for children, adults, Medicare age. They have everything. So you can look on their website, and oftentimes you'll automatically be signed up for the one that you're needing. Next, we have the supplement insurance. This is going to help pick up the remaining of whatever Medicare does not pay. So if you need your deductible covered and you can have a supplemental insurance cover that portion, or you want your co-insurance, that 20% covered so that you don't have to worry about paying that out of pocket, you can find a supplement insurance to take care of that. So there's very specific supplement coverage, and those are plans like AARP or Mutual of Omaha, and you would need to, and then they have plans like A, B, C, D, and that's how they indicate what type of coverage they have. So supplement plans do not cover dental care, hearing aids, eyeglasses, those kind of things. Those are going to be still out of pocket for people who have Medicare. So some of the confusing terminology that we often hear that confuses patients, and it just is very frustrating when you're a patient and you just want to know how to pay for your services and what does my insurance policy cover. We have different plan types. So an HMO is going to be a health maintenance organization. That's going to be the one that I told you about, similar to Access Plan, where you have a PCP who's going to refer you to every type of person that you need to see. You're going to have to see your core person, your PCP, to go see everybody. A PPO is a very lenient. You can see whoever you want to see, as long as they're in the, a preferred provider network. So it just is it's a very wide array of specialists, and there's opportunity to see many providers. Exclusive provider organization is going to be a very specific list of providers that they prefer to keep you in network with. And as long as you stay in that network, you'll be getting a preferred rate. And then there's point of service plan, and that's going to be something similar to a PPO. Then we have health spending accounts. I'm sure many of you have heard of this. This is going to be something that you would get like a debit card. You put money into, and it's allocated to medical spending. So copays, you put maybe $500 in there a year, and it may be broken up to $20 a paycheck or something of that sort. But you get it put on a debit card, and so you go into the office for an office visit and you pay with your debit card. We also have an HRA, that's a reimbursement account. That is going to be where oftentimes you save the receipt for your office visit, and then you go online and let them know you saw a doctor. Here's upload my receipt. Can you please reimburse me for what I paid? But that's also you setting aside funds. Flexible spending account is money set aside for physicians and medical costs as well, but you can also spend it on things like Band-Aids, and there's Tylenol, over-the-counter medications, prescription medications. And then we have another type of plan. I should have put that up under plan types, is COBRA. This is the type of plan that you may have an opportunity to have after you are leaving a job. So this means that the employer is no longer going to take on their half of the cost of your plan, but rather they're agreeing to transfer the full cost of an insurance plan over to you that you once held with them. Some other terms, Some other terms that you should know. A copay, these are fixed payments that you'll make when you go into a doctor's office, for instance. And they're made until you reach your plan out of pocket. So $30 for maybe a primary care visit, and then $40 for a specialist, which would be somebody like you would see an oncologist or hematologist at Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers. And then there's a deductible, the amount that you would be spent to cover health insurance costs before your insurance begins to start paying. You have to pay this full amount before the insurance is going to start paying anything towards your medical care. So often, many of us are stuck with maybe $2,500 or $1,000, or even up to $5,000 before we're able to start paying that 20%, and our insurance pays 80%. So patients right now in January are experiencing the burden of a pretty heavy deductible most of the time, but that's not something that Ironwood places on you guys. That is actually the insurance company requesting that you guys cover this portion, and then we're gonna begin paying to help you. So you may have to pay for a few treatments up front. That's when a good health spending account or health reimbursement and FSA, where you set money aside because you know that this is coming up, may be helpful for you. Then we have a co-insurance, which is a percentage of what your covered service is going to be. So, for example, that 80% covered by your insurance, 20% covered by you. Out-of-pocket max, which is the total amount a member is responsible for each year for their health services. So, for example, a total out-of-pocket of $6,700. Once you reach that, the insurance is going to pay 100% for any other services you get. And then key terms that you may hear from insurance are in-network benefits. That's when providers are contracted with your specific plan, and the insurance worked out an agreement with that provider so that if you go to them, you're going to get a preferred rate. So they prefer that you stay within that network, and you'll also get the preferred rate. Non-emergency out-of-network benefits, that's seeing somebody that they did not agree to pay. And yes, that's your choice to see them, but they're not going to pay at the rate that you would probably like. Also, we have a referral. I reviewed that before. It's a prior authorization from a primary care. This can be an authorization number, or it can just be a paper that says Joe Bob can go see Dr. Bala. So these are some of the differences between plans. This would be something I would reflect on later for you guys to go through. Something like, is a referral required for me to go see somebody? And then, do I have emergency coverage? It looks, with these plans, all of the plans are going to have emergency coverage. Some of them are going to have in-network benefit or out-of-network benefits. All of them are going to have in-network benefits. So when it comes down to it, what are you responsible for? And then what is the insurance finally going to pay after you're paying for a policy every month? Well, a deductible plan, if you have that, for example, down at the bottom here, if you have $1,000 deductible and then your plan states that you're to pay 20% until the out-of-pocket of $6,700, you are responsible for that $100 deductible first. So that's going to mean that you are going to start the year by paying $1,000 upfront. So maybe that could be 2 treatments, and then you'll start paying 20%, but you won't pay over that $6,700. You have a copay plan, then you're going to pay copays, and that sometimes is applied to the out-of-pocket, sometimes it's not, but those are for things like injections or physician appointments. So here's the cards that I mentioned that we would glance at. As you can see at the upper left, that is the new Medicare cards. They used to have Social Security cards on it, or Social Security numbers on it, but they now have some just random mixed numbers on there. And then it lets the providers know when you receive Part A at the hospital and then Part B. In the middle, we have Medicare prescription plans. That's going to let them, the medical assistants, order a lot of oral drugs for patients here at Ironwood. That just lets them know your policy number when they call it in to the pharmacies, your ID, and all the basic information. Down below the Medicare card is just a Humana Medicare Advantage. As you can see, this one, because it has RX below the member ID, that includes prescription care. Because like I said, Part A, B, and C are all included in there. It shows the provider what the co-payments are for the common visits. So office visits is the basic primary care visit, specialist, and a hospital emergency. Upper right is a basic commercial policy, and the enrollee ID is always going to be what the policy number is, and then they'll usually ask for a group number. And then the last one is the access card, and that's just going to tell them your access ID that usually starts with an A. They may have changed some of these to reflect different numbers, such as a 9, but it'll tell you in the provider what plan you now have, and then give you some contact information like where to contact for pre-certification, or also known as authorization. For you to get additional information on what you qualify with your insurance for and some benefits, there is always a number and a special department that is dedicated simply to explaining your benefits to you on the back of your card. That is what their sole job is. There's a full department just dedicated to doing this. So I would take advantage of it. They can sit on the phone with you for 2 hours and review this. This is simply just to review your benefits with you. And like I said, you're paying for a policy. Take the time, sit on the phone. A lot of times, yes, they are busy the month of January, but a good time to do it is maybe in February, and take advantage of it. It is a service that they offer to you. Of course, our benefits coordinators are also key people that can explain your benefits to you. But I think it's just a really good idea to call the insurance and really find out your benefits for yourself as well, so that you have that knowledge. So then just to kind of give you an idea of what assistance is available for you when it comes to the financial part of it. What if you can't afford a policy right now? Especially with the pandemic and just in general, people do tend to have a trouble maintaining a policy when you do have cancer. It is very tough financially, and all of us at Ironwood can empathize with that. And so we put in place resources for you and information, such as information on how to apply for access. Our social workers are available to assist with that, and myself as well in the supportive care services department. To meet the access standards, you would look here below, and you can see that it says for adults, if you look in the second column, you need to see how many people are in the household, and right next to it is how much they would make monthly. So you cannot make, for instance, let's see, for an adult with 2 in the household, you cannot make over $1,911 monthly. Anything over that, you will not qualify. They typically ask for 30 days pay stubs and like a driver's license, and to fill out an application and an application would be online as well. Then there is a separate access plan that is for specifically breast and cervical cancer treatment patients, and they have a different income guideline. For instance, you can see they can make up to $3,467 for 2 people in their household. So if you are in need of applying for access, I would visit the healtharizonaplus.gov, and you can go through and see if you qualify, and if you're unsure, it's always good just to go through the process anyways. We can also help you navigate through the application if you don't have a computer. Our number is 480-314-660. And then what if you can't afford your treatment? Well, once again, Ironwood has put in fantastic resources for you guys. You can request to speak with one of our benefits coordinators. They are located at each location. So you may have a specific one, say for Gilbert and Mesa. And then also communicate with your provider. If you're having a hard time paying for your prescriptions or your treatment is just really taking a toll on you, let them know so that they can put in maybe a referral to a social worker who can help you find financial resources. And then what if you need help with the costs related to living during treatment? You're having a hard time just paying the bills, keeping the electric bill or groceries. Speak with one of our supportive care services department members regarding some assistance with foundations. There's a lot of foundations out there that are willing to help you guys. We work closely with the Full of Hope Foundation, and there's Arizona Assistance in Healthcare, to name a few. And we would love to be able to provide that information with you and how to apply for that should you need it. Also, if you're seeing other providers, we are not the only providers that offer patient advocates or benefits coordinators. I guarantee that there are other ones at other offices. You just need your family or yourself to advocate for yourself. Ask to speak with them at your plastic surgeon's office or at your urology office. The more you speak up, the better. You just need to ask for assistance, ask for payment plans if they're needed, at other offices and if they offer them. So at this time, that concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions if there are any. Otherwise, thank you so much for being a part of today's Lunch and Learn. And please feel free to contact us at our supportive care services should you have any questions regarding insurance or just the financial need. Or please reach out to your benefits coordinator at your office. That's what they're there for. We have a very hardworking team, and they would be more than happy to work with you.